Hey everybody, this is Mag, aka McGee, and I'm bringing you some Sons of the Forest. And welcome to the showcasing on my third and fourth builds on Sons of the Forest. Now, they're both churches. I kind of got a little inspired by this little three-plotted cemetery. And this one here is located by that lake that has all the little streams that come off of it and the large river that runs down from the mountain. And also I noticed one day while coming over here that a cave has now appeared. Now, it originally wasn't here, and I can only assume that in this ravine where I was thinking about doing something kind of weird, that this little hole that now exists is the exit to that gate. I'll figure it out one day. But let's get back to this build. So, originally, whenever I decided to start it, it was when we had the little half set foundation idea that came along. I don't know if it was an accident or whatever it was, but it provided some use, some ideas on builds. And it's actually relatively easy to do. And I would actually suggest to start with quarter logs because depending upon terrain, you may get where you can't drop a log down to the ground where you need it. But here, it doesn't matter what size of log the cut is, as long as you're going up at too high. And then you'll have your full log that goes right there across. And then we'd have this one right here. So what we're doing is we're dropping literally a full log, because if we considered a log to have quarter parts, that this would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then the 4/4. So it's a little bit more than a full log, just because of the way that it is set and where they're laid out structurally, visually. But I'm assuming that when we put this log underneath, it is saying, instead of the full, let's now start at the height that the original one started at. So now we have it where these two logs on the original foundation and then this one that's been dropped down, they are now the same height. You could just take your log and work it around and work it into itself. But when you remove, say, that log, see, it's a fake pillar. And what I really like doing a lot of the time is just creating like a whole bunch of different tiny squares and then coming out with a layout of sorts and then removing the logs that I don't want to use. And then kind of configuring where this one can sink into that one, because this is considered a full log by the game. If I took one of them out, it would actually turn into a full log if I had a fake log underneath it. But I have a real log underneath it. But if I had a fake one underneath it and then remove, per se, this log, it would shoot out and become a full log. But that's pretty much how you get the height. So I like going around and just making these and then coming out with the layout, because you never know where your internal walls are going to go. But yeah, so I had this one kind of a mess whenever I put it in, because it's all like quarters and everything and then not. But I like how the windows had turned out right there. Now, it was before the shutters came also. So I did the windows, but I thought a good appropriate height would be. And then again, I like how those are. Now, it's a nice little build inside. A nice little test. Couldn't quite get this part right, but now I know how to do it, so. But this is just a test, so I just implement it as I keep going, further along. And then I realized today earlier while recording this, I can actually remove these ones. So makes it a little cleaner looking. because it's a small room, don't really need a lot of stability. And then in here, I mean, I love how ceiling turned out. It looks very stable and symmetrical, very appealing. And we got our small room of pews and a place where the man can talk about the man. And then that little small room, I just kind of set it up to be kind of like, the counselor office. You just talk to the priest, the preacher, your brother, whoever he may be to you. But yeah, getting stuff done. Then again, I think as I take these out, this looks a bit more appealing. So, gonna go on out, take another look all the way around, and then we're gonna move off to the fourth build. I like how this one turned out. Small, cute, it's quaint. And here we are over at the fourth build. It's located over here at that big lake that has the island in the middle of it. It's got that waterfall that was, I can't really remember because I don't know if I went all the way on the other side of the map at that point, but this is like the largest waterfall I thought, maybe in the beginning. I'm not totally sure. Long while. Long while. So, this build over here on the church, I had started it and then I took a break for about a year. I had went through and did some schooling, had some other priorities to do instead of having fun. So, yeah. So here is the fourth one. And at first I did not have the console. They did something with the terrain because, like I said, I'd like to take trees further away instead of my scenery. And over here, all I have is two trees knocked out, and the rest of them grown back. And I'm not sure even if this cave was here when I made this. So, like, yeah. But here's my zipline platform to send everything this direction. Yeah. So, I like how this one turned out. I did a little offset right there on the sides, and then I built this little center tower in the front to hold the cross. And like I said, I built it, took about a year off, and then I had to develop the stairs on the back, and the game had actually kind of changed on its configuration a bit. So I actually had to take off the last four windows in the back on the bottom and that top section to work in a staircase. That was quite a process, but I created this little cemetery here with the build share. I was like, oh, that would be a neat little idea. Graveyard next to the big old church. And that fence is actually relatively easy to make. Like, all I had to do was set out my foundation and set like where each one of these would be on the pillars. Then all I had to do was, well, I have to do this one too because it's going to be a corner. You have to like connect it. But anyway, the whole point is you can take them out after you get them set where you want them and pull out your sticks and take and set this one to about right. I think it's about right there in the center. And then you can work your way over here. And then you just kind of put these in the centers. Then you could take the rocks, reconnect it, and then rinse and repeat. Now the cool thing is that you don't have to do that setting with, oh, I've got to measure it out again. No, you could just take your stick because it's the same distance and just keep doing it. As long as you kind of got that relative distance right there to begin with, you're going to get it repeated every time. Which is nice that they actually got that mathematics right. But yeah, you just, again, fill it back in. And then you take and stack those up to a height of half, go back across, and boom. Beautiful fence. Go around to the back. A little appealing. Got some windows. Back window right here with the cross inside of it. And I like how this one turned out. Okay, funny story though. When I was making this, it kind of looked like a monkey's face or a gorilla's face at first. It was really funny. But let's go on inside. We got that little gathering area before you enter. Nice little fireplaces at the back. Here we are. Got our interior and our pews. Sit down, watch the man, and the stage. Up here we have some nice little offering table, our holy water, and our window to let in that light. We'll go down here on this side of the stage. And we'll go down into this area, kind of like a basement. I figured it could be the preacher's room. And it was before I did the build share, so I just really worked in these logs on this pond. And the crazy thing about it was this pond wasn't even here whenever I originally put down the flooring and everything. So they like perfectly redesigned the terrain, and it fit perfectly underneath my build. So like nothing of it shows at all. It's like nice. Didn't have to make any adjustments, and then I was able to work in a floor down here because the terrain drops down just right here. So we'll go back on in, and we'll go take the other side of the stage, and that is where that staircase is. And I had to take off basically the entire stage and this back wall, just to get this baby in here. So going up, get a nice little singular chill area, windows. I really wish I could put a smooth on the inside and the outside, just for definition. Just yeah. A nice little 850-pound man chairs, chilling. Little sleeping area for nuns, anybody else, the welcoming area where anybody's needed. Welcome. Little preparing area. Head up. Watch out area. And you can even watch over the people sleeping. Isn't that creepy? So, come up. Food drying. Again. Take a gander all the way out. Around. And the watchtower itself. Daylight tower. Really love the views in this game. Really pretty. Uh, when you can't get out there, games is usually the best you can get. And at least that's something. Here we go. We'll go down. And yeah, it's my little that's my church build. My second church. Big church. Love the stability. I do. And the roof. Didn't turn out too bad. When you go up a half log and then you do this with a 3/4 or a quarter, you'll get a kind of slope to it. But then in another build that I did, if you do this log right here where I have the 3/4, do it a half and then the 1/4 on top, it'll almost perfectly smooth that transition. But with this being the church, I really kind of wanted that little rounded shape right here in the top level. Just gave it more character. So yeah, that's my fourth build, and I'd like to know what you think. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, shoot them down below. I'll take a gander and respond, whatnot, so on. But I guess until the next video, showcasing, building, whatever may come, I'll see you around. Goodbye.